How's it going, guys? Today is a very special day to me here. I was actually dying to get this light. This is the GODOX ML60 that the GODOX just released this light. And talking about new, let me show you how new I'm talking about here. For example, this is the VL200 case. It comes with the logo and everything ready to ship production-wise. And this is the bag that this came with. This is an exact miniature of the VL200 case, including the bottom here. So this thing is so new, it's almost like a semi-prototype kind of thing. And where's the logo? They didn't even have time to put the logo. I actually mailed them, we don't have the logo yet. So as a matter of fact, I'm gonna take care of this right now. Done. A few months ago, the same thing happened to me here. I was actually the first channel to review the GODOX FV150. Don't take me the wrong way here. I'm not bragging about anything. It's just something that feels great because there's so many YouTube creators out there. And some reason I happen to be the first one that reviewed this light here, YouTube-wide. And also the same thing that happened a few months ago. I was also the first one to review the GODOX FV150. So I'm actually very honored, and I consider myself very lucky and very special for this to be happening to my channel here. And just a quick disclaimer here, GODOX sent this to me for a review, and I'm never paid to say anything from GODOX or any other manufacturer. Some lights I buy with my own money, some other lights they get sent to me here for a review. So either way, so if I'm speaking very highly about this light, it's because I am actually really impressed with this light, because so much detail from the light, from this thing, all the way to the cable, design-wise, or a little something that they added here. I can get over how cute this little thing is and also how powerful this is. Even through a softbox, you have plenty of light to shine through this thing. Let me show you how small I'm talking about. This is the iPhone 7 Plus, and as you can see, it's almost a centimeter longer than this light. In the bag, you're gonna find the light itself, the battery holder, the reflector, the protective cap, power cord, the power supply, and 2 power cables, one short, one long. And also a soft box that comes with the case. And a grid. I'm gonna actually be skipping all the geeky stuff, the CRI, TLCI, all this stuff is gonna be appearing on this video, so if you catch to pause the video, you can actually read all this stuff. I'm gonna go straight to the point and show you guys around the light here, how to use it, and all the features that it has. For the viewers who are used to this channel or subscribe to this channel, you guys already know that I don't do any unboxing here. I don't do the 5-minute video kind of thing that always leaves the viewers with more questions. So my reviews here is a mixture of not only reviewing the light, it goes really beyond sometimes some lighting tutorial pertaining or associated with this light, how we can use the light better or any other thing. So I always try to keep the video as short as possible. Even some videos can be like over 20-25 minutes long, but I don't waste a single second of your time from the beginning to end. So please don't skip anything. This video is a lot of work to do. Sit back, relax, and you're gonna be knowing everything they want to know about this light. I promise you that. So I guess let's start with the very first thing that you guys want to know about: fan noise. Yes, this light has a fan and it's running right now. So this noise that you hear here, I'm gonna be quiet for like 5 seconds. This is not the fan from this light, this is a fan from this light over here, and wait until I tell you what's gonna happen next. So the fan is actually spinning. Let me turn off the light here, and I'm gonna show you how loud the fan is. Alright, so it's just us and this light over here. So, do you hear anything? The shotgun microphone is right here. It's pointing right at this light, and I'm actually 2 hands away, which is about 1 foot away. Listen to this. Even if you crank this up at 100%, the fan doesn't speed up. I'm actually at 100% right now, as you can see. Do you hear anything? And this light is right here. Now the next cool thing is, not only the fan is like whisper quiet, you have the ability to actually turn it off. So this light is now 100% and the fan on. Let's go to the settings here. The first thing they're gonna see is the option to kill the fan completely. So turn it off, the light reduces to 50% because that's the way it should be, so you don't overheat the light. Now the light is completely silent. What else could you want on a little light like this? I mean, the fan on, which I just turned it on right now, there's no noise, nothing. Actually, I'm gonna actually exaggerate this thing here. The fan is on right here, and I'm putting this touching my shotgun microphone. This is the noise of the light. That is absolutely incredible. That's the first thing that I noticed as soon as I unpacked this light here. Very nice. Now this little light here, also look at the design of this light, and also this features a proprietary GODOX mini mount. This is not a Bowens mount, it's not a Bowens S mount, this is a GODOX proprietary kind of thing here. I don't know about you, but I love the smell of the electronic stuff every time I unpack this. So this light not only is extremely light, it's lighter than a little JBL Bluetooth kind of thing. And also when the fan blows here, it smells great over here. So especially when it's nice and cold. And this light actually remains cold the majority of the time. Another thing that GODOX always does here with the FV, the VL, and the ML series and other lights, they always put a front glass element here which protects the chip in case you are outdoors in the summertime. So all the bugs that are becoming on the light here, they are not going to be staining or damaging your LED light. So like I said, a lot of thought has been put into this light here. And also to mount this light here, it has not only the threads but those two little pins that they align with the light, so there's no possibility of the light swinging left and right, it doesn't turn. And this blue little material here, whatever the thing is that they put in here, so when you actually mount your modifiers, you don't even need to over tighten, just a light little tight. There's no way this is gonna be sagging, and whatever material this is, it just works. I received this light already a few days ago. I was playing with this thing a lot, and I just happened to notice that this thing also features an umbrella here. I don't even know if this is mentioned in the manual, but yes, it does have an umbrella thing here in case you don't have your modifiers with you. In case you want to put this light in a pocket and an umbrella on the other pocket, you can do that too. When you power off this light, it's going to remember whatever setting that you left here. Let's say that you want to power off at 3% and then you power it off. When you power it back on, it remains at 3%. Keep in mind when you use the remote control, whatever is set to remote control, if it is at 3%, for example, this light is at 100, as soon as you touch any button on the remote, of course, the light is gonna ramp down to the 3% the remote is. So when you crank up the remote, let's say 10%, and it shows 10% there, you can actually pick up from here, if you like. Now, as soon as you touch the remote again, anything, the light is going to go back to whatever number that's displayed here. Another thing that I like about the RCA6 remote is because it has a slightly brighter display than the RCA5, and also has the ability to go not only from 10% all the way down to 1% or even 0%, or you can actually turn off the light here, turn it back on, or you can just leave it at 0%. It's the same thing as turning off the light. When I turn off this light from the back here, or also utilizing the remote, whether you're running AC or DC power here, the fan will always switch off as well, because some lights, especially the ones that don't have battery capability, it's a good idea to have the fan spinning in case the lights are hot to cool off the heat sink. But this particular light here to preserve power, and as soon as you turn off the light from here or from there, the fan will turn off. But don't forget that you can actually go to the settings here and turn off the fan, but the light is going to be running at 50% and lower. And the light spot here, this whole thing is made of metal from the front all the way to the back here. I'm not sure about the back here, which doesn't matter, because if this is not metal, this is an incredibly dense material, and it also feels as cold as the metal. So I'm going to be assuming this is not metal, but everything else you see here is metal. One thing I noticed that when you go up and down here, you have a slight little residue of this blue material that falls here. I don't know how long this is gonna last before it wears out, but occasionally I see a couple little blue things falling here. Looking at the back of the light here, I see this is powered by 16.8 volts. What does that tell you? That you can certainly also run a full-size V-mount battery through the D-tap port to a 2.1mm barrel plug, which is the same voltage because the V-mount battery is fully charged. Usually the voltage output on those ports, they are 16.4, 16.7 volts. When you unbox this light, you're also going to find these two accessories here, and as you can see, this is a V-mount plate kind of thing. So I was assuming the idea was that you actually wrap around the V-mount battery here, and then clamp this on a stand here, wrap around the stand, and then you click right here, right? But this thing is actually for the power supply, which I actually have a better idea because I'm going to save this for something else, even using a V-mount battery, so I can actually wrap this on a stand and wrap this around the V-mount battery, and all I need is the D-tap with a 2.1mm DC barrel plug cable to plug it on the light, and I should be good to go, as long as I'm plugging this light on the stand here. So over here is an email that they wrote saying that, you know, when you buy this light, it's no longer going to become this knob, it's going to be improved with this actual ratchet system here. I mean, this knob is already great, but I would rather also have the ratchet system here instead of this. So they're letting you know that this is the new version, which will come with something similar to this here, and the old version is this thing here. So the light that you're going to receive when they're ready to ship this is no longer coming with this regular knob here. It's going to be coming with this thing here, which you can actually pull out and determine whatever you want this to stop. So the light is actually going to look like this here instead of like this. Another thing that you should know here, this remote was shipped to me along with the light, but this remote requires a separate purchase. This does not come with the light, it's not included. Regarding the 2.4 GHz capability of this remote here, this might confuse a few people because I was assuming this was a Wi-Fi kind of thing, which is not, because the VL200 is actually controlled by this app over here. So there's no app with this light, and to be honest with you, I don't care about apps because I don't like to have my phone in the way. My phone can actually drop. Somehow the remote is always more reliable than an app. So let's talk about the battery holder here. As you can see, it's already locked in place. It doesn't go up, doesn't go down. This is very secure here. To unlock, you just slide it towards you and then lift it up here. This whole thing is loose. And the cables is a very short one here when you are hand holding the light, and also somehow if you need more cable length, they also include this longer cable over here. But the cool thing about this is because, like I said, detail, they thought of everything from the light top to bottom all the way to these cables here. So here you have a lock system here. So you just put the cable here and twist, the cable is not going anywhere. Just like similar to your lavalier mic when you attach here, it's not going anywhere. And if you decide to sit this battery on a flat surface, they also came up with this little tab here that, you know, it will prevent the battery from falling this way. I'm sure most of you guys are never gonna touch the menu, never gonna read that thing. I do, but you know, here's your button to release the battery, so press it in, expect the battery to come off, right? So when you actually putting the battery back here, this is not going anywhere, but this button here, think again, you press it deeper, you have your meter right there. See, you have this nice bright little green LEDs, shows the batteries at full power. As a matter of fact, my batteries, they already have this touch little fancy display here that tells me the voltage and everything, but most Sony MPF batteries, they don't have this feature. So there you go, you have this little gauge here, which is pretty accurate, I think. And then you have an idea how much juice you have here. So it's pretty clever. Like I said, detail was thought on every single aspect of this light, all the way to the bottom. I really love all the little details that they put here. This to me is a detail as well. Here's another thing that I noticed. Take it easy with this little locks here because they can actually get worn out pretty quickly. So just be very gentle with this here. So to unlock, don't be in a rush, just feel the thing and it comes out, otherwise you're going to be wearing this out pretty quickly. So with this light facing the correct way, which is that way, so when you are on handheld mode, so keep in mind that you can actually tilt all the way up with the softbox or the reflector, but you cannot tilt down a lot because this is going to hit the battery here. And when you have the softbox here, the tilting down is going to be even more restricted. So let's not forget that this whole thing is meant to be handheld. You can occasionally put this on a stand, but if you want to tilt the light, you just do it this way with your wrist, right? No big deal. But if you want to have the light on a stand here, keep in mind that the tilting is going to be a little bit restricted, and it's about here. So you cannot go any lower than this unless you flip the light the other side, and then this way with the reflector pointed that way, you can actually tilt all the way down like this. This battery holder even has a belt clip option, so you can actually wear this on you, and with the longer cable you just power the light and good to go. I really like this proprietary GODOX mount because you're not going to need anything other than this reflector here and the actual softbox, because you are hand holding the light. It doesn't mean you're going to hook up a 80-inch parabolic umbrella. I mean, it would be cool, but it would be a little silly. So this particular mount here is actually very satisfactory the way it aligns here, and also to remove, just like any other bonus mount, goes out that way. But the thing is, when you actually hook this up here, both the reflector and the softbox, there's no rattling whatsoever. And this feels very solid because the bonus mount, you have those three little flimsy little square things there. This thing always vibrates, right? So not this mount here. You just mount this and it just locked really nice and snug. So in the background there's nothing other than my RGB light there. So let's test the reflector here to see how much it reflects. It's crazy how this thing reflects here. So I'm gonna actually have the light set to 2%. You barely touch the background. Now I put this in here. Look at the difference. That's 2%, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's go 10%. Check out the damage on the background there. I'm pretty much blowing out the background. So to equal the intensity with this reflector here, even if I put the light to 100%, it's not gonna be really making a lot of adjustments there. You know, at 100%, this is like crazy bright. To access the menu, press this left button here, which is the set button. It will do the selection, and the right button is gonna make the changes, either on or off. So here you have the actual fan on. You can actually turn it off. So let me go back to here to 100%, for example. And then you notice that as soon as you turn the fan off, the light jumps back to 50%. So if you want to go 51% and above, you got to go back to the menu here, turn the fan on, and there you go. Next, this is where you control the remote control. So you select on and off with the right button. And here's the effect, which of course I'm going to show you guys in real time. This is what I'm here for. Now the effect number 1. Effect number 2. Three. 4. 5. So it has a little delay there, which is good. Effect number 5. 6. 7. That's the TV. 8. And finally, the bed bulb. Now next, everything here has to do with connecting the remote and everything. So the next one here is the channel, group, and ID, and then go back to the top of the menu here. So to go back to channel 1, it goes from number 1 all the way to channel 32. Next is the group here from A, B, C, D, E, and F, and then numbers from 0 to 9. And the ID can be off all the way to 99. Now this remote control here, the beautiful thing about it, as you can see, the display is a lot brighter than the RCA5. This is the RCA6 remote. So with the ID here, it can get a little tricky or confusing for you because I don't know exactly what that does. All I know is that it exists on the RCA6 remote. So if you want to turn off the remote completely, just go back there and turn it off so nothing responds. And turn it back on, exit the menu, the light responds. Now, if you want to set the ID kind of deal here, this is what happens. As soon as you set it to ID other than off and exit the menu, guess what? Nothing happens. The remote control no longer works. Now, you double press this. That's where you find your ID. So let's set it to the same number here. Go back to this thing here, set it to number 1. Actually, let's set it to number 2, just for fun. And then you exit it out. Now the remote works again. So if you don't want to use the ID, just shut it off, double click here, shut it off, press off, the remote again works. I'm gonna set my ID to on and leave it like this. When I turn off the remote, the icon no longer appears here. Now it appears. Now the RCA6 remote also gives you the ability not only to go all the way down to 10%, but of course all the way down to 1%, and if that wasn't enough, all the way down to 0%, which is equivalent as turning off the light. By the way, when you turn off the light from the remote, the fan no longer runs at all, which is a good thing because it saves battery power. The GODOX SL60W, for example, which is an AC only light, the fan is going to be on regardless if you shut off the light on the remote completely. The fan will only stop running when you actually physically come here to the power button and shut the light off. The advantages of having a fan running, regardless if the light is on or off, is to help cooling down the heat sink. This light here, since it's primarily designed to go on the move, so the fan is going to be turning off when you turn off the light from this remote here to save battery power. Another thing to consider here, some lights they are bicolor, other lights are daylight only, which is this case. It would be actually cool if they made a GODOX ML60 bicolor. Of course, you're going to have only half of the power because you're going to share the LED diodes with tungsten and daylight, but that would be something cool to have. So with that said, you notice here that I am at 5600 degrees Kelvin, and this is a 5600 degree Kelvin light. Some lights bicolor lights, for example, if you have the light color temperature set wrong, the remote will not work. With the RC A6 remote, it doesn't matter if you have 7000 Kelvin here, even though this is a 5600 Kelvin light, the remote will still work, not a problem. So don't worry if this is set to the wrong temperature, but just to be neat, I want to set it back to 5600 and leave it be. So it works regardless. To change the color temperature on the remote, just quickly press this button here and then it can go up and down in 100-degree Kelvin increments. Press set again to lock it down. This obviously turn the light off, turn it back on. This is your group here, press it once. You can switch from A all the way to number 9. Press it again, this is your channel from number 1 all the way to 32. When I turn this light off, the display is not going to go black on you, it's going to set you off but on a dimmer state. So still let you know that this light is off by the remote control. And even with more details here, it comes with this little top velcros on the top here for you to secure your softbox. So even this, they thought about it. So when you transport this thing, you just put your softbox here, velcro it down, there you go. I would also recommend that you don't throw away any of your shipping materials because it's going to actually be very useful when you actually put the reflector back in the box, which helps stand like on a horizontal position. If you don't use this, the reflector is going to go this way. So it's just a minor detail, but I would use the shipping material here. Even though there's nothing really that will cause any scratch on the equipment, but they also include this foam here, which you can actually put on top of everything. So when you close the lid, this part here does not touch anything that's under here. I also made a little cut here because when I have this AC adapter back in the case, instead of like pressing it down with the lid, I'll just slide this over here so this cable doesn't get pressed. Now instead of using this here to wrap the power supply around, I have a much better idea and keep this reserved in case I want to use a V-mount battery, which by the way I have the proper clamp to hold the V-mount battery, so I don't really need this. So instead of you using this to wrap the AC adapter, so I think my idea is a lot better, a lot cleaner. Instead I've put a cushiony material here with those furniture selfie-sticky pads and also 2 velcros, the soft part wraps around the brick here, and also the other side that you're gonna be installing on the stand, which you press this against the stand, stretch real nice, and this is not going anywhere. And then you also put a velcro here to keep the cables nice and neat, and then you give the enough slack for the cable to reach here, and the rest you just loop on the velcro again, so you have a very nice and neat setup, and you can actually tilt the light up and down. If you need to raise the stand, the whole thing goes with it as well. And in case you need even extra reach, just undo this whole thing here. You have plenty of cables to go up and down. Like I said, again, this is a lot better than this here. It's like a nice thought, but I prefer this method much better and keep this reserved for using with something else. I'm an extremely neat person when it comes to my equipment, so everything that you see is nice and tidy. Everything got a little velcro here. The cables, so when I put it back in the box, they always look like factory shape. And also the power cord, this is the most neat way to pack things. In case you're interested in finding this velcro, I found this at Lowe's. It comes in a package that has 2 types of colors, one like light silver and the other one black. I usually prefer the black, but when you go to the store, you're gonna see the package that you cannot miss it. So it's a package that comes with 2 little rows of velcro. One is black, the other one is silver or gray. So inside the soft box where the light shines, you can actually use nothing or the default semi-translucent frosted thing, or the finish in gold or silver as well. Everything attaches with the velcro, and this grid that comes with the soft box is very rigid and it doesn't collapse easily, and it's almost 2 inches in diameter here. The one thing that I would be careful with, just observe this little V shape here. This is actually to shape the octagon shape of the soft box, so they have to make these cuts here. So don't be yanking this stuff out of the soft box like very rough, because you probably would damage this, even though this is a very tough material. And here's the soft box, which you can actually assemble in seconds. I already have this whole thing set up here, so it comes with this outer diffuser here, and also the same material here in this shape that you can actually velcro inside the soft box. And when you put the diffuser here, make sure you leave space for the grid to attach here as well. So the soft box here doesn't require a separate split ring. Everything, as you can see, is in one piece. All you have to do is to stretch this out, and the whole thing is gonna be set up in seconds. I have those large parabolic soft box that looks just like the shape here. It's the same exact system to set it up. So with those big soft boxes that I have, usually you have to rip this in half to actually be able to reach inside the little pressure ring mechanism, whatever it is, to set out the box. But talking of detail, GODOX actually created this little zipper incision here, so you actually open this, you'll be able to reach inside, and now from here I actually see my baffle right there, and I can actually align, and this whole thing is set up in seconds without tearing anything. So when you have this whole thing here, you don't have to partially remove this to reach inside. So to collapse this, open that zipper, reach inside. There's a little button here that you can actually collapse this whole thing. You don't need to remove anything, just like, you know, patch this down here, and it's ready to be put in a box, and you're done. I really like this proprietary thing that GODOX made with the ring system here, so actually it looks a lot more elegant, a lot more practical than the Bowens mount thing. And also gonna give you a little example how this light will look like when it shines on somebody's face. It's actually raining outside, so there's not much I can do as far as outdoor shots, but it gives you a pretty good idea how nice and soft this light can be. So that's the end of my review here. If you liked what you saw, if lighting is your thing, please consider subscribing to this channel for more videos like this. If you want to give me a thumbs up, that tells me that I'm doing a good job here. And also if you want to comment something, I reply to everything that I see down there. So once again, thank you very much for your support, and I'll see you next time.